Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to Honcast here, the off-season qualifiers coming at you. Continuing to happen here on what is a great weekend, of course. Han is back, baby. The World Finals officially wrap it up. BMG are your 2015 World Finals champions. But that's the past now. Here we are advancing on to the offseason, and boy, oh boy, do we got some fun events coming up. The Deadeye Battle League, $20,000 prize pool on the line. More information going to be coming out, I believe, tomorrow on that, but definitely going to be a lot of fun. Ultimately, teams today are going to be playing to qualify for that, as well as seeding purposes going into what's going to be the first DreamHack qualifiers, which will start next weekend. So plenty of events, plenty of Han going to be coming at you. 4 of the 7 days every single week there's going to be coverage here on Honcast. Boy, oh boy, we got some good Han. Anyways, with that said, we got a round of 8 matchup here. Very important. You win this, you do qualify, you are done. You lose this, you still have a chance, but you'll only have one more chance later on today. The team's going to be taking place Fresh versus Team Grief here in this best set of 3. Now, Fresh we know plenty about. Team Grief, on the other hand, a new name team, but don't let that fool you, because as you see on the roster, definitely plenty of known players over there. Haxer and Fine, Mighty Marcus Macera, definitely players we have heard before. Anyways, with that said, I am joined by Snooey once again. Snooey, how's it going?
I'm doing awesome, Breaky. I'm so damn excited to see this game, how this turns out. I have absolutely no idea who's going to win it.
Yeah. Yeah, I 100% agree. I mean, it's, you know, here we are in a case of Fresh. This is a team that was so close as far as, obviously they were in the playoffs. This is a team with a lot of hype going into the playoffs. Definitely expected to make a pretty big splash and possibly even be the team that ultimately went to the World Finals of the 4 teams. In the end, they fell short, of course, in what was the final match against Bad Monkey Gaming. Ultimately, formerly known as World Keeper, of course. But anyways, point being, they were so close, yet didn't make it in the end. Now, what I'm excited to see is that they stuck together. I mean, this is still that same 5-man roster. I can understand how that can be discouraging and everything, knowing that you're so close. And, you know, we've seen it before where a team maybe breaks up, or at least a couple of the players end up leaving as a result. They stuck together, and they're here to play. So definitely looking forward to seeing how they perform today. But again, Team Grief over here, this is kind of familiar faces, some of them even coming back in Haxeron's case especially, to compete here. So, I mean, yeah, what do you think the chances are, actually, of Team Grief actually being able to pull out a victory here?
Oh, I think the chances of Team Grief being able to pull out the victory is about 50-50. I can't say anything else than that. They got a very interesting mix of players, I would say. I mean, they got a nice synergy going in between them. Like, they don't really have, you know, those top-tier players, like individual skill perhaps, but they have been around for so long now. They got so much competitive experience, and they're so damn good at what they do. At like their specific, I mean, it's not Mikke, maybe not Sibbe, like they stand out in that kind of way. But I mean, Haxeron, we know for a fact that he can farm, he can compete with the absolute top, and so can everyone in their team. So yeah. As far as it goes, like you mentioned, I mean, season 3, they were so close to making it to Thailand as well. It's just getting short of losing to BMG there in the finals. And I mean, like you said as well, I mean, they stick together, they are ready for this, they want to prove themselves. They didn't really get the chance to do that last season. And now, you know, it's DreamHack, it's off-season. It feels like it's a new era starting now, because there's so many new teams. I've been talking with a lot of players. They are like, you know, there's a lot of tension in the air. Everyone's like, you know, the top scene, or I mean, the competitive scene is recovering. It's on its way back, like it's stronger than ever. And yeah, I just feel like this is going to be so damn awesome. I'm looking at the bracket and I see, you know, Nullstone Gaming versus Undercover Hoon Agent. Great game. I would assume that Nullstone Gaming are the favorites to win. Then we got Solar Club versus Team Who. I would say the Team Who is a little bit of a favorite. We got Recent Gaming versus Disband, a little bit of a favorite in Recent Gaming. But this game, I think this is the one was most interesting, because like it's impossible to tell.
I 100% agree. Obviously, you know, we had to choose one in the end, and this is what we chose for a pretty good reason, I think it's safe to say. But yeah, no doubt, all those matchups going to be fun to keep an eye on, and we'll do our best to monitor those games and keep you guys updated. Again, Hunter.com, I'll show you guys the brackets. You guys can all check out the brackets at that website for yourself, and they are updated after the matches and whatnot. So, but we'll keep you updated as much as possible. But again, the match we have here, Fresh versus Team Grief. So here we go. We're actually almost getting to the end of the draft here, so it's about time now we start addressing what's going on, as 4 picks on either other side. The initial bans were Chipper, Warbeast, Puppet Master, and Ophelia. So kind of interesting there. We had Midas into Swiftblade, Moira into Parasite, Dr. Repulsor into Rhapsody, and now we have this second follow-up set of picks here. Pebbles into Moraxis coming out. So what are you noticing so far, Snoopy?
Noticing that once again we see the Pebbles. We didn't have too much success in the last games that we were covering yesterday, unfortunately. And once again, it seems like the Hellborn team are going for some kind of offensive lineup. Moraxis can be quite good versus Pebbles and Dr. Repulsor because of his second ability.
Yeah.
I guess that's why they picked it up. It's a nice way to counter a Pebbles initiation, for example, or a Doctor jump, for example. You see Doctor coming in, you activate Arcane Shield immediately, then you can stun the Doctor instead of getting gripped. So it's a very nice counter, and I like it. It's creative. We haven't seen it too much. It was like Stay Green era, more or less, when we saw Limp play it. But since then, Moraxis has he hasn't necessarily been nerfed in any kind of way, but it just people haven't picked it up. But now when we see Haxorn returning to the scene, he's bringing new ideas. I like it. It's creative.
Yeah, no, Moraxis has always kind of been, I agree, just a strong initiation hero. I mean, he's got the beefy presence. He's great at initiating, obviously, once he gets that portal key, especially. Has an excellent chance to get in there, throw out a big stun, and the ulti to follow up. And like you said, his W, the Arcane Shield, I want to say it's called? Yeah, Arcane Shield right there. Definitely has potential to absorb several abilities here on the Legion side. Solstice coming out here for Fresh, so going to be running the Jungle Solstice, it looks like. And Kinesis is actually how our Hellborn side is going to be finishing off. So it looks like going to be setting up to be more of that Suicide Kinesis, of course, as they got the Parasite Jungle here going to be working with. So interesting finish here. Solstice Jungle. Not too often we see it, but Iceland Gogo going to be playing here. What do you think of that?
I know that Iceland Gogo is an excellent jungler, and I'm surprised that Mint isn't. Usually Mint is going for some offensive tri-lanes and stuff. I feel like they should stick to junglers every single game because this guy, he's so damn good. Might not be as experienced as Slapped with the Solstice, but I mean, I think they can get it working, definitely. However, I'm surprised that they decided to pick it versus a Parasite. They got the Pebbles already, who is very dependent on the portal key. He's going to need to farm up, he's going to need to be a little bit defensive. And at the same time, we've got the Solstice then. So if Hellborn team were to man up, go for a Swiftblade, dual lane, for example, Swiftblade, Rhapsody, and Parasite offensive, I think that Mint could be trouble. Because Mora as well, not very strong early game support hero. It's more for the late game. So if Mint can survive the early stages of the game, I think they're in a good position. But at the same time, it's up to Hellborn team to put pressure on them.
Yeah, definitely going to be coming down to that. So, you mention it's just good to see a lot of competitive faces even coming back to an extent. The competitive scene definitely seemed kind of rejuvenating here now going to the offseason. We bounced around quite a bit as far as seeing different games and definitely got plenty of good action from that. So, yeah, and most certainly agree with you there. It's good to see and fun to see here. Quincy, by the way, I believe he is running a little bit late, so he should be on later today. So those that are wondering, where are the stats? Understandable. He should be on later. Oh, he is here. How about that? There we go. So Quincy kind of sneaking in here, I guess, as far as that's concerned. So, well, he'll start doing what he does best, of course. Sneaky indeed. In the end. So, but yeah, you see the Moraxis here going to be played by Mighty Marcus, it looks like. Happens to be the captain of the team. And again, this is one of these cases here of this Hellborn side, a team that was kind of put together going into this offseason. So you do have to take that in consideration. Just because we do have several starting players over here doesn't necessarily mean everything's going to click right away. For them. And, Mint, on the other hand, like we talked about, this is a team that already has been through quite a bit. Swinamelon's formerly of Stay Green and, of course, and casting at the World Finals and everything. Something that he really stresses is that, he had to take a lot of bumps himself as far as advancing to become the player that he eventually became. And Stay Green as a team, for that matter. It's not like he started there. The dude was playing for a good 3 years before he became very relevant and, eventually picked up with Stay Green and did what they did. So, plenty of losses before that happened, both at LANs and as well as online tournaments. Kind of taking that consideration that as long as you stick together, that's why for BMG, I think a lot of people really respect what they did, where we're talking about a team that was together for such a long time, and we didn't even know of them for the longest time. Until eventually, as Season 3 kicked off, started to really learn who they were. And hell, by the end of the season, of course, they ended up becoming champions. Who would have thought of that? So, We'll see who's that next team going to be. I mean, it's bound to be somebody, right? Every single season and the offseason and everything, we have new teams that just come up, and it's kind of interesting to think back on that. But, I mean, that is the case. All these teams that make a name for themselves here starting with this offseason. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll see if Team Grief perhaps is one of those teams here in the end. But
the only real mistake is to stop trying, right?
Yeah, exactly. So keep trying and keep putting up that effort, and definitely greatness can happen. So, all right, enough of that speech though. We got the lanes developing here, and taking a look. I mean, looks like they're going to be running the short lane Pebbles. So they send Doctor mid, Probusk on that Doctor Repulsor. What's your take on that? They want to guarantee the farm on Pebbles.
I think it's the right choice to put the Pebbles in the safe lane, definitely. Dr. Repulsor is going to have an easy time versus the Miraxus in the mid. I'm surprised though that the Hellborn team is actually deciding to lane like this. I would assume that a Rhapsody was going to be in mid, and then they were going to have like a Swift Blade in the safe lane versus the Midas 1 versus 1. Maybe not the most favorable matchup, but I would still say that prioritizing farm on Miraxus this early on into the game is better than prioritizing it on the Swift Blade.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, again, Probusk playing the Doctor Repulsor. He is really known for getting a very stat-heavy build. He likes to get the Grave Locket, get the Mystic Vestments here. And there is some criticism that comes out that says that the players that will say, they feel like it's a little over the top sometimes. But Probusk sticks to his guns. He's very confident with his play style. And likes to pretty much rinse and repeat there. Obviously a fantastic player, and it works for him. So what do you think about that? I mean, it's something that has been brought up from time to time where Probusk as a player, he sticks to a specific build on pretty much every hero he plays. He likes to build like that Gravelocker, like I said, or the Energizer at least. I mean,
it can be positive and it can be negative. Sometimes you have to adjust to the game and opponent's heroes that you're playing versus. But I mean, if you got a build that you're going, if you're comfortable with it, if you feel like it's working, I mean, there's not really a reason for why you shouldn't go for it.
Yeah.
Something to point out as well is the Labyrinth here on the Midas at the Suicide lane. He's usually their mid player, but in this particular case, he's transitioned to the Suicide lane. So perhaps they were, trying to lure the Hellborn team a little bit as far as it goes for the lane.
Yeah, that is true. Definitely mixing things up a little bit here. Again, playing the Midas in this case, applying some good pressure to Haxor on the Swift Blade, but in the end, of course, Swift Blade going to be fine. We saw Rhapsody earlier trying to box him out, and actually going to be doing a lane pull right here. So going to get that lane control back. Similar situation at the bottom lane. Macera on Kinesis. He's having a little bit of a good time with experience here, at least, as the lane gets pushed up. 7-1 creep farm, not too shabby for a solo Suicide Kinesis. Again, we know its potential, though, what can be, and of course having that Stasis Smash ability, or a Telekinetic Lift more so, to be able to throw his own creeps in the air and help delay the creep wave. So,
yeah, these two lineups are very similar in a case. They got the Forest hero, Solstice for the Parasite, they got a Swift Blade for the Dr. Repulsor in a way. The difference between them are that one team is prioritizing the farm on the Pebbles, while the other ones are prioritizing it on the carry.
Yeah.
So Legion team, when they hit the Pebbles portal key timing, they are the ones who have to make something happen, because their carry is going to be under-farmed, or not as farmed as Swiftblade at least. So it's going to be fun to see how this is going to evolve, because there is a timing, definitely, for the Legion team that they cannot miss up on, is that portal key timing on Pebbles.
Yeah, definitely. And again, they put the priority on Zibe here, of course, to get that farm, and he's most certainly doing a fantastic job, at least as far as the start's concerned. Nearly 300 gold per minute, of course. But look at Miraxus, though. Mighty Marcus. He's having a great time himself. 20-4 creep farm versus a 20-2 Doctor. So he's actually holding his own.
They're both doing really well, actually. But I can't believe that Miraxus is 300+ GPM versus a Doctor Repulsor.
That is pretty impressive. Oh, bottom lane, Kinesis go over the TP. He cancels it immediately, so some panic mode coming out here. And Kinesis ultimately going to fall in the end. Bloodlust kill coming out in favor of our Legion team right here. So well played, but I mean, I gotta wonder what Macera was thinking right there. What's up?
Yeah, I didn't quite catch the end of that, or the start of that, but this is a big kill for the Pebbles, because we just talked about that portal key timing, and this is going to speed it up with like 2 minutes maybe.
Yeah.
First blood, 400 plus gold, more or less, for the Pebbles. That's a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. So in the end, we do see... Oh, no, this is not working. Oh, man. This is not working. I wish it was working. Oh, there we go. There we go. Now it's kind of working. See right here, I'm actually trying to set up... I set it up for today. Definitely some tweaks to be made, but there's some instant replay action coming at you.
Oh,
yeah,
sweet.
yeah. I figured at least a little bit out. So it's not the easiest to do solo, but working with it. So there you go. That was a blow skill again. But speaking of live action here, Rhapsody.
What just happened? Why was Rhapsody in that position?
I mean, I don't know. They were diving that tower pretty heavily initially, and I think she was even trying to pull a creep or something. But yeah, that just seems silly. And Midas was like, you know what? I'll take a kill out of this. Eventually got her taken out. So.
Nice start from Mint, at least.
Yeah. No.
They have been looking a little bit unsteady when it comes to scrimming. They have been playing a lot in the weekend or during the week, but so far, nearly no success at all. So I was a little bit afraid of them coming into this series, perhaps being knocked out by the new team here with Team Grief. But so far, I mean, they really impressed me, and they've played the draft, or they drafted well. They got a synergy going between the heroes. They got definitely a plan with the draft, at least.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like their how they look right now, at least.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously.
Oh, look at the mid lane. They will see it, or the arcane shield.
There we go, Moraxis. He does have that Matrax. He is going to use it right there. Stasis Smash on Solstice in the process, and now going to chase him down. Solstice is going to be turned on. That is a power of Moraxis, definitely. When you think you have a kill, he can turn on you big time, and Solstice ends up falling in the end. So now it's a 2-1 lead. It's still in favor of Mint, of course, but yeah, Mighty Marcus, a fantastic start for him, and you were made that point. It's like Moraxis, we just don't see him. It's not like he received nerfs or anything like that. It just doesn't happen to be picked up nowadays for whatever reason. But people may want to start thinking about it because his turn potential very strong as he showed.
That was like. I feel like it was a little bit of a misplay by the Legion team jumping in like that, because we talked about it. I mean, Arcane Shield, you can see the Doctor flying in, and that was exactly what happened. He used the Arcane Shield, stamped the Doctor just as he came in, and got a kill in result. So, yeah, I mean, props to Mighty Marcus for doing this so well. I mean, 350 GPM, I'm not sure how he handled it, but somehow it is working out very well.
Yeah, well played indeed. So, 400 gold per minute in the meantime, though, for Zibbe coming out, obviously. So he still manages to lead the charts. But yeah, Mighty Marcus. We talk about the portal key on, of course, Pebbles all the time and how important that is. Make it the priority. But definitely Moraxis once again. Great initiation hero. And getting that portal key on him going to be very effective as well. You know, something else to keep in mind about Moraxis, actually, is his Morax's ability, which, once again, I absolutely hate that name, but the skill itself is actually very strong. And not only is it a good harassment tool, it's good for chasing people down, but the great thing about it, too, is that it actually is based on a percentage of the target's max health and magic damage on top of the flat damage. So, keep that in mind. We look at a couple of beefier heroes over here. Midas happens to be a strength hero. On top of Solstice can definitely get somewhat beefy. So, it's not the tankiest team in the world, but it is something to definitely keep in mind as far as building up that life pool.
Yeah, it scales very well into the late game. Oh, we got initiation here on the Kinesis.
Kinesis getting picked off right there in the end. Mora coming in for some assist. It's Moraxis. He's also going to be gone. Cut up by Midas right here. He pops that Matrax, but this time I think it's going to fall too short. He gets a stomp off, but in the end, oh my god, he's mitigating so much damage. Is he going to live? No! At the last second, he does go down, but now Parasite looking to turn on the Dr. Repulsor. Not going to be enough for the kill. Rhapsody in the meantime in the background. Solstice diving onto him. Midas taking some good tower damage. Will survive, though, and down goes Rhapsody. And now we see Parasite. He's trying to do a little bit of hero blocking, but takes a stun from Moira, and ultimately going to have to fall back right there. So, well played by both sides. In the end, though, more so Mint definitely coming out on top pretty big time right there. Moraxis almost survived, but just not enough in the end.
Can't believe how much damage that soaked, that ultimate of his Matrax ability.
It is ridiculous, man, how much that
Real nice rotations from inside. Labyrinth coming out in from the top lane. I love to see it. Solstice channeling a perfect ultimate. Every single team member being there, getting 3 kills, I think it was, in that.
Yeah. Yes.
Big news.
2,500 gold lead, nearly a 3,000 experience lead right now, in favor, of course, of the Legion team right here. So once again, fresh, finding themselves in a pretty good spot. You look at that 380 gold per minute. Zibbe, who happens to be in the middle lane right now, and he currently has 1926 gold saved up. So a couple more creep kills here, and he will have that portal key. Moraxis with the death obviously slowing him down quite substantially. So Portal Key Raid is definitely going to be in favor of him. Bottom lane in the meantime, Kinesis. He's going to be collapsed on and eventually will be picked off. Moria's doing a pretty good job, you can tell. Serenia is very comfortable with the hero, using that Ephemeral Forge to full effectiveness.
I love how Mint is rotating this early on into the laning stage. I mean, they've sent the Pebbles mid and the Doctor bottom now. Kinesis is not going to be able to be there anymore. As we just saw, I mean, Mora can spawn his illusion just when Doctor grips. And then it's a free kill. There's nothing more Kinesis can do about it. So it's very, very good that Mint is keeping these early rotations up. That's something that I missed in yesterday's game, that people were like stuck in the laning phase all the way up until like 50-minute mark. But here we see Mint rotating even at the 8-minute mark. So love to see it.
Yeah. All right, I do apologize, guys. Again, I'm trying to, it's for some reason now acting up and not cooperating here. So I'll have to look at that in between the games and see about getting that adjusted as far as the replay goes. But the game itself obviously still happening here. Portal Key picked up on Zebe as you see the purchase right there. Coming out top lane, Rhapsody kind of setting up for a gank. Staccato stud, Swift slashes on top, bolt bounces on him. You know, he's fairly tanky, but he's not going to be taking enough here. He almost gets a turn kill on Rhapsody, but not enough in the end as they'll drop him right there. So well played by the Hellborn team, picking up their second kill of the game, and Haxrain definitely getting the assist, but still pretty much needed. 340 gold per minute now for him. And ideally need him to start stepping up his game, of course, as going to be relying on his carry here.
Mid lane.
Yep, they're going to dive onto Pebbles here. Stasis Smash coming out. Look at the burst to follow. Axe even missing right there, but it doesn't matter. He gets the kill nonetheless. Dr. Pulse, by the time he's here, it's just too late. And both Moraxis and Kinesis fall back. So, again, Mighty Marcus, he continues to do a pretty damn good job here. And address
nice rotation from Hellborn's side this time with taking Kinesis over there. He realized that he can no longer be bottom now when the Doctor rotated. So he went to the mid and said he got a kill on Pebbles. We just got the Portal Key, by the way. I think that the Hellborn team picked up on that as well. So that's a little bit of a missed opportunity by the leading side at the same time. So
absolutely. Coming up to 12
good Swiftblade, by the way. He picked up a Mighty Blade first item. Or first.
Really?
Not sure what that is about. Is it because of because he's afraid of the Pebbles Portal Key?
I gotta think, yeah, he just wants to really get that shrunken head here ASAP. Or it could be I mean, he plans to get a shrunken, but he might as well get the Mighty Blade now and then eventually finish it later on. I mean, we've seen that before, but
yeah, I got no other explanation than it does is like a precautious for the Doctor or the Pebbles jump.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the Legion team, there's a lot of magic thread. I mean, there's no doubt in that. So, Pebbles,
I would have liked
Midas,
to see the Steamboats
Doctor.
instead, though. If he was feeling like that he needed to build up a little bit more stats, then I would rather prefer the Steamboats over the Ghost Marchers and just be able to like build it into an Energizer or a Firebrand, Abyssal Skull or something so that he can keep his farm going really fast, because I feel like this is slowing down his farm just a little bit. I mean, he got the Ring of the Teacher, which is a great tool for pushing, but I mean, Ghost Marchers doesn't necessarily give too much attack speed, and he's not going to have any life regen now as well, so he can't necessarily take too many stacks in the forest, or ancients for that matter, quite yet.
Yeah. In the end, they push down the bottom tower. Probus getting credit for it right there, so 390 gold per minute now looking out for him, and he actually picks up an Arcana first, so you know, we see that icon of the goddess and whatnot usually coming out for Doctors, but he wants to get that Hellflower ASAP. You know, so that works out for them. Wild Hunter, Parasite in the vicinity. Snuck on by them. He's currently hiding in the trees. Not being seen just yet, of course. He did go to Lex Talionis, as we saw earlier. Pops his Windwalk right here. Let's see about maybe setting up. I mean, he could have teammates support in. We do see the Velrod Kinesis is going to be exposed. Here come the TPs. Parasite going to cut off Doctor. Pulls in the background. Face-up comes out. Here's the burst follow, but it's not going to happen. Midas disjoints it. The execution, by no means flawless there by Team Grief.
Yeah, they poured it in with 2 players, or I mean, there are actually 5 people down here, but still they go for different targets, and in a result, everyone gets away from the leading side, so that's a big, big misplay.
Yeah.
Fortunately. I mean, they could have gotten the Midas for sure if Parasite just decided to go for him, but I guess it was a little bit of a poor communication. Once again, like we stated, I mean, it is a new team, so it can happen.
Yeah, it's again that goes back to the you know, like perhaps the lack of communication there, kind of kicking in between the Hellborn team and just not all on the same page, and you know, star players doesn't necessarily translate into success as we go back to. So in the end, fall short right there. And I mean, still nothing too crazy here as far as the league goes for Fresh by any means. Obviously, there's still plenty of positives here on Team Grief. Wanted to capitalize, sure, but they still have a swift play that's farming pretty well. Granted, again, very curious to see. Now, he did finish the Abyssal Skull, of course, but he now is just going to go right into a Shrunken Head here. But again, that goes back to the idea there, is his damage is not necessarily going to be that great in the end. So is that really going to be worth it if that is his option here? What do you think about the Pro Boss build here, though, with the Arcana going to Hellflower first right away? You like that option?
Yeah, I like it a lot, actually. The Grave Locket and the Mystic Vestment helps him survive the early game state, and it helps him from surviving ganks from Parasite and stuff, and therefore he can go for a greedy item like the Hellflower, which is going to provide a lot of mana regen and a lot of farm potential as soon as he picks it up.
Yeah.
It's relatively cheap as well, or it's not cheap, but I mean it's the same money as a Rune Dax more or less, and we can see Rune Dax very early on into the game, like a 12-13 minutes mark, even if people reach that 500 GPM mark, and hitting it on a Doctor Repulsor here in the next 10 minutes or so, I think it's going to be a great tool, especially with the Pebbles as well on top of that, and Sauce is now picking up a Portal Key. It's going to be really scary for the Hellborn team.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure, by the way, can you Arcane Shield the Hellflower? Meraxis?
I don't see why not. I mean, it's any direct target spell, I'm pretty sure. And that clues out at bottom lane, though. In the meantime, Dr. Pulsar going in on Rhapsody. Mora here assisting. Nice taste of smash, though. And it prevents a kill from happening. You saw the Arcane Vortex in the background. So good play by both sides. But when it's all said and done, obviously neither side coming through with a kill. But Arcane Vortex is down now. That's a fairly big ultimate. It looks like that's going to be enough for Team Grief to feel comfortable trying to initiate. Pebbles goes in. The Arcade Shield wears off right there. He says, get in there, bro. He throws a stomp out, though. Pops the Matrix. Again, not necessarily the hero you want to be doing that to. And now here comes the follow-up. Swift Slash is bouncing around. Take out Solstice. All on top of him. Regen rid of Doctor, but he gets caught with the stasis match. He's going to start dropping right here. Minus big transmute, though, on top. Dagos gets all of a sudden is just Swiftblade alive. He's trying to spin out right here. It's not going to happen, though. Stun happens from Pebbles. And Swiftblade also going to fall. A 5-4-1 exchange. A genocide for Fresh right there. Holy crap, what a fight. It seemed like that could have gone either way, but it definitely went in favor of Mint in the end.
Wonderful, wonderful. Mint played that really damn well. They were waiting for the Pebbles Portal Key to get back on to cooldown once again. He jumped in with combo 2 times in that fight. Just real nice played by them. Probus picking up, I think it was Rhapsody in the background, so he wasn't able to make it in time to help them with the Protective Melody. Just nice coordination overall.
Yeah. A
little bit too greedy though by the Hellborn team. I mean, it was the second time in a row that they ported down to that bot tower and they didn't get any kills in a result. So as far as I could tell, it was frustration from Mighty Marcus' side. He jumped a little bit too far. He desperately wanted a kill and he just put himself in a poor position, resulting in more or less an entire genocide for our Legion team.
Yeah. Yeah, that's once again, I stated earlier, it's like, okay, but they're still not too far behind. They still have a lot of great ace. Now it's starting to get to a comfortable lead here for Fresh. And most certainly, their scaling potential, it's fairly strong. It's not like the craziest ever, but Dr. Repulsor, he is getting close to the Hellfire. And yeah, again, I'm still not 100%. I mean, you look at the ability with the Arcane Shield. Absorb an ability or magic projectile targeted against Morax. I mean, I gotta think it would, but...
Yeah, I mean, it's
because I mean, Nullstone absorbs a Hellflower, so I don't see. I believe it's works in basically the same way in that sense. So
it's these small things, game mechanics.
Yeah, no, it's there's plenty of them out there, and as a caster, it's it's
quite amazing because even though we have been around for so long, played this game since it first was released,
yeah.
5. How many years is it now?
Coming up to 5 years technically, yeah.
Right, yeah, 5 years, and you still find these new things every single game.
Yeah,
I love it.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's just there's just so many intricacies, whatever the word is. Anyways, middle lane, we do have a jump onto both Pebbles with a follow-up, and they're just gonna melt away. Moraxis, never mind, it's Moraxis. He pops the Matrix. He's absorbing so much, and he is gonna eat through the trees. He has a Portakey in 1 second. He's gonna be able to use it here and get away more access, man. I gotta tell you what. I mean, really, teams may have to start thinking about this guy again because he is a strong hero, man. Kinesis, he's going to be caught in the meantime off to the side and eventually will be picked off right here. In the end, a double tap for Pro Busk. But so a minor victory with Moraxis living, but the long run, it's not going to happen. And yeah, GG, well played.
They're done.
That's going to do it right there in the end. So Valiant effort, but Fresh clearly once they got their groove. I mean, obviously that middle fight is what really did it. That's what it came down to, where Team Grief had the jump. I mean, they seemed like they had a good chance. Moraxis he got chucked in and he had a good stomp and good follow-up, but obviously better response from Mint in the end. So final thoughts on that game?
I can't believe it went like this. Yeah, I can't believe it went this easy for Team Mint. I was expecting a long series. I mean, as we saw the drafts, I feel like they were very similar, which certainly paid off to put the Pebbles in the safe lane. And, like, the Hellborn team prioritized the farm on the Swiftblade, and it just didn't work out whatsoever. They went for a very defensive build as well with the Mighty Blade.
Yeah.
And I just don't see the reason for why they would want to do that, because it feels like they are the ones that were going to be defensive. They have the Moraxis, who is a very defensive hero as well. He can't really be the one to be jumping enemy target like they were doing. I mean, they're trying to get so many kills going with like the Parasite Moraxis gank, but every single time it backfired for them. So yeah, a little bit, I don't know, not perfect execution from the Hellborn team regarding to the draft. Felt like they should be the ones playing much more defensive. But yeah, can't take anything away from Mint. They played it perfectly as well.
Yeah, again, this is a team that they were one series away from going to the World Finals. Once again, losing to BMG in the end, ultimately just shy of qualifying. But they stuck together, like I said, and really you got to give them all the credit in the world for that. And same 5-man roster. They're coming to the offseason here. They know another big event at DreamHack's coming up. They know there's that $20,000 Deadeye Bounty League. So there's still plenty of very good reasons to stick around and play some competitive Heroes of New Earth, and I think that kind of showed there too. This is a very good team. So Team Grief definitely has some work to do, but hey, we know again with their player potential, their skill potential, we know they have. Most certainly, it is something that we could catch Mint here and possibly force the third game. So with that said, we're going to be taking a short break. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. Game number 2 going to be coming up here, the round of 8 action, live from the off.